This is my third time trying to record this video. The first time, for some reason, no audio was captured from my computer screen. The second time, I got about halfway through and the audio just cut out. I don't know what happened. I got to the very end, I looked at it, and wouldn't you know it, there was just nothing for like the last 40 minutes. So that was totally useless. So hopefully we can do a more streamlined version that's going to make a little more sense this time anyway, because to be fair, the lighting kind of sucked on the other ones anyway, but whatever. Slating. What's up, everybody? This is Major with Major and Metal, where we talk about guitars and metal and things of that nature. Got a good treat this time. This week we're going to be looking at Extreme's Play With Me. You know, there's not a whole lot to say about this one, man. It's just got an insane solo in it. Made famous by being in Wayne's World. I don't know if the song was actually created for the movie or if it was on one of the albums and they're like, man, this song rocks, which is very fair to say. Guitar player is Nuno Bettencourt. Amazing guitar player. He's currently playing for... That's right, Rihanna. Yeah, he is Rihanna's guitar player right now whenever she tours. And it's like, man, just talk about overqualified for the job. Good on him, man. Like, man, what a great gig to get. But it's like, man, I don't even think he has to think for any of it. Just not even a challenge. But anyway, man, we're going to go ahead and get into the DAW and get this thing moving. All right, so we're in the DAW here. As usual, I already have my bass and my drums tracked. That's taken care of. One thing about this song, it's tuned down a half step. So my guitar, I keep it in standard tuning, actually drop D specifically. But we got this nice pitch shifter here. So this is all we're gonna do. Take her down a half step. Beautiful. So now we're good to go. This is a floating bridge guitar. I'm not going to take the time to, get it rebalanced for tuning down a half step for this one song when we have the technology, and I'm going to utilize it. So, the part we're going to be looking at for this one is obviously primarily the solo, but we're also going to kind of look at the little spot before it, coming right out of the second chorus. We have this chromatic ascending run. If you don't know, chromatic just means playing all the notes. And not like all the notes where you're just like shredding super fast, but playing all the notes in that you hit every note in between. So this one starts with a nice chromatic run from E to G. If anyone's sitting at home trying to follow this with their own guitar, just know the note names I am saying are as if the guitar is standard tuned. I'm not going to go through and try to remember to take everything down a half step. So even though the sounding note will be an E flat, I'm going to say E. So let's just go ahead and get this part tracked right here. It's nothing crazy, but it's a nice little chromatic run. Pretty straightforward, pretty cut and dry. We're just going to throw this on the rhythm guitar. So that way I don't have to worry about things stepping on top of each other. Let's track it again. Get the other side. All right, so we got our ascending chromatic runs there. We'll just leave these here. We'll come back and revisit this stuff. The next section is this. It's kind of like a dream sequency kind of sound. Really, it's just the guitar has a flanger effect on it. Which, this is something cool I didn't find out until I started trying to record this. Obviously, in your recording DAW, you can set up automation to where your computer knows, like, oh, only put the effect on this part of the song. Of course, we all know that. What I didn't know was that if I am recording and I already have the effect applied, it will apply in real time. I did not know that. So, for example, if I have my cursor right here, do not have any effect on that. If I move it to the region where the effect is applied, it kicks on. I didn't know that would happen. So that was a fun little surprise. All right, so we got that section recorded here. We're just kind of going to look at it and listen to see what's really going on here. What's cool is that we talked about chromatic motion already. This entire section also plays with that concept as well, because all we have is just a G major chord, and we're just moving the top note down a half step every time. So you start with a G major, go to a G major 7, go to a G7, and then you land on a G6. Then we start the pattern over, but this time, instead of moving our G at the top, we're going to move our C down this time. So you have G major, you have a G flat 5, you have a G sus4, there's a suspension, and then you resolve the G. So we'll just hear that in real time here. It's a cool section. The pattern just repeats itself, but what's cool, on the second time, you kind of get this bluesy kind of turnaround deal, where you have, what is it? What's going on there? You have an F major 7, followed by an A major with an E in the bass, followed by a C minor with the E flat in the bass, and then you resolve to a G. So that's all fine and dandy there. So let's actually take a look at this solo. There's no getting around it. This is a difficult solo. A lot of classical influence. This whole solo section is very inspired by classical. The opening to the song obviously is inspired by classical. If you weren't aware of the piece, that's Rondo alla Turca by Mozart. I believe that's 18th century, but don't quote me on that. Yeah, because the classical era, so that's got to be 18th century something. I may be wrong. I dropped out of music school twice, so there's a good chance I'm wrong. Before we track our solo and before we talk about it, we have to get our rhythm guitars recorded. So we'll take care of that real quick. The backing section for this solo is pretty straightforward. It's just straight eighth notes and the guitars. They do this little turnaround at the very end. I'm going to do it down an octave as well. It's not on the recording like that. I just think it sounds cool. But what we're really doing is we're just going to be outlining the chords for the next section. We're going to be using some different chord tones as opposed to just playing the root of every chord. So really, you start off with an E, E for your first part. Then it goes up to an A, up to a C sharp, up to a D, up to a D sharp. More chromatic motion right there. We go down to the fifth in the key of E, then resolve back up to your E. It works really well with the solo because it highlights some chord tones in there that you wouldn't get if you just straight played what the chords were, you know? Like if you just played what the chords were, you'd have just like a which is like, hey, we all love the Ramones, but that's not what we're going for here. So by just playing notes within the chord, it's a little smarter, you know? I think it's a really good choice. We're going to get this going, record these rhythm guitars, and then we're going to take a look at the solo. Okay, so we finally got our rhythm guitars tracked after chasing down some unknown issue with my computer, but you guys don't have to know about that. Let's look at this solo, man. Obviously, a lot of classical influence through the song. I don't know if I already mentioned that or not. Out the gate, it's just a kind of a little bit of a blister and just showing off. That's what Nuno Bettencourt is good at. But I mean, as guitar players, that's all we all show off. I'm definitely guilty of it myself. But let's just look at this. We'll just get this first part track just so we have it. And there's one thing I want to talk about in there that you may not realize is in there. Out the gate, that's your first part. Let's listen back to it. You're going to notice something's missing. You might not know what it is. It's a good take. It seems like something's missing though, isn't it? You're right. It's because there is a shaker part in the background here. So we're going to throw the shaker on this time. I also changed the tone to be a lead tone with some delay, so that's going to make a huge difference as well. But check it out now. This makes it sound huge. All right, now we get into the fun stuff. And by fun stuff, I mean very challenging. So we're following our chords here. As we talked about, we have E, A, A7, B minor, B. You don't have those chords necessarily outlined super obviously in the rhythm guitars, but it's the lead guitar that really paints the entire picture. So out the gate, our first chord is E, and we have this E altered dominant lick, which is such a cool scale. I wish I knew how to write with it. I don't. But you may be asking, like, what is an altered dominant scale? An altered dominant scale, pretty much you take your major scale and then you move every note down a half step, right? So obviously, like in the key of E, but instead we're going to take every note outside of, your root note and take it down a half step. So instead of this, we're going to get It kind of invokes the same sound as like a diminished scale, and actually it's kind of like a diminished scale and a whole tone scale all at once, which is really cool. But using those notes, we get this is the sound we get. That was all out. It's just so interesting, man, because those first four notes, that's a diminished scale right there. But then you look at the next four, that's all whole tone. So it's half diminished, half whole tone. Not to be confused with like half diminished. Half of the scale is diminished, half the other scale is whole tone. Really cool concept. But allows you, if you're smart, to write really cool riffs like this. So let's get that tracked. Just a crazy fast solo. What we're really doing here is just all arpeggios outside of the altered dominant. That's more of a scale kind of deal. But so out the gate, over your E, as we talked about, you have your E altered dominant. Repeat it. But then we go to an A major, followed by an outline of an A major. An A7. Which is super sick. This is my favorite part right here, just because I love just like taking a minor chord then just making it major right next to it. I love that. We have your B minor, followed by B major, then a little pinch harmonic deal to finish it out. So let's listen back to that. I can't imagine it's perfect, but we'll hear it. Now I'll make excuses for myself all day. It is a hard solo. But here's the dangerous part. If you thought the first half was hard, but wait, there's more. The second half is even harder. So the first half was all triplets. The second half goes to 16th notes. But yeah, a lot of it is just hammer-on and palm muting. Then you get a little, I like to sweep it, but really it's supposed to be string skipping. So let's get that part tracked, and then we'll look at that big-ass arpeggio at the very end. It is far from perfect, but I will take it for what we're doing. All right, so finally, we're at the end of the solo, thankfully. It ends with this long sweep sequence over your E. It's just an E7 at the end of the day. But what you got going on is nothing really out of left field with that. It's just a long sequence. There's some kind of back and forth play, which makes it difficult. But we're gonna just get it recorded. We already talked about it, so let's just play it. I cannot believe I played that as well as I did for that first time. Far from perfect, but we're gonna let that ride. So that's all the parts there. Do we dare listen to the whole thing? Probably not. Let's just hear it. Starts with the tremolo picking intro. It's honestly not really good. Yeah, man, that'll do it for this one. Play With Me is an extremely hard solo. Nuno Bettencourt is such a great guitar player, not enough people talk about him. But man, if you like these kind of videos, man, like, comment, share, subscribe, all that. We're doing these weekly. Not much more to say about it, man. This is Major in Metal, where we major in metal. My name's Major, and we'll see you next time. Peace.